Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Earth Sign Shit. I wanted to pull a message and just channel a message for all the Earth signs today. So, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, also North Node. Let's read patience. It says, a tree needs time to grow after it's planted. And the same can be said for even our best laid plans, by simply doing what is in your power and then having the faith and letting go. Sounds like rebirth to me. You will see the fruits of your labor come to pass, one step at a time. This card has shown up in your reading because you are eager for results and your patience has worn thin waiting for them. Take stock of all your actions. It may be that you've already done all that is within your power, and now it's time to let nature take its course. Are you talking to me or no? Yes. Oh. Because let me tell y'all something. I went to college all these years, right? Got all these degrees because I got pregnant at 19 and I needed to make sure that I was able to provide, only for me to be here. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Let's read card 10. I always pick one on the bottom. It's a 10 card. And it's a gift. Ooh. All right. Good intentions always pay off in one way or another. You've pulled this card because although things in your life may not have panned out exactly how you've anticipated, your karmic reward will be quite pleasant and may surprise you. Sometimes the best gifts are the unexpected ones. If you continue to live your life led by positive and loving thoughts and actions and peaceful and pleasant results, the peaceful and pleasant results may surprise you. So, Spirit is asking you to be patient because at the end of this journey and at the end of this road is something better than you could have imagined. And I know for me personally, not knowing what's ahead of me is a super big issue, right? Because you can't control that. And I have gone through the lessons of being able to really let go of the things that are not in my control. So, for an example, if God tells me to tell someone something, gives me a message that I'm supposed to give out, I know that a lot of people have this thing about them where they're just like, they're not going to listen, so why I'm going to say it. And I was one of those people. And control is feeling like when I say something to someone, they need to take it and run with it and listen, even if, especially if they asked. Okay. And this journey has required me to let that go because 10 times out of 10, me giving someone a message or advice in that moment, they're not going to take it because people have to experience things on their own, right? But what I said to them is never going to leave them. So even if they don't have the courage or the strength, or it doesn't happen until far down the line, that's the point, right? You may not see the results of something you've said or done for years later. And Spirit just needs you to let go of that control and just do whatever. So if you feel the urge to leave a job, that is probably one of the hardest things to do. I remember when my contract was up with one job and there was a position on the table. And I'll never forget this. They were offering me 85 and I was making 90. And so they had created a position for me because they didn't want to lose me in the company. And when they sent whoever they sent to come and talk to me about it, to kind of pitch the job, this man gets on there and tells me, well, you're not worth the 90 we're paying you. I'm sorry. I beg your pardon. I did not take that job. And I did not have any job lined up for me. But one thing about it, I am not going to work or be anywhere where I don't feel valued. That's one thing. Two, who are you talking to? White man. Who's not worth what? That job offered me 85. Literally 3 days later, another company came and offered me a contract for 99, and I negotiated that contract for 120. Who's not going to get, who's not worth it? But I could have took that job because I didn't have anything else lined up. That's fear, right? Stop settling and taking things because you don't know what's ahead of you, right? And always, consult your ancestors, consult God, but really yourself. What are you feeling within your body that is not fear? Because really, that's what you're telling yourself. So we're being asked, right? Hopefully, we got it working this time. Everything right? So while I was trying to get everything fixed for my camera, I don't know why I was reminded of when probably 2021, 2020. I had always wanted to be some form of physician, so a nurse practitioner, PA, and MD. And so during this point in time in my life, I had 2 full-time jobs, working in public health. And I had just got into a program in grad school over at Emory. It was for a really great program that was a very competitive program. Kind of interesting how I ended up being a candidate for the program. But I remember one day I was walking out of my bathroom, and this was in the beginning of like my journey. And I stepped foot out of the bathroom, and God kind of just stopped me dead in my tracks. And I have this letter from Emory that's like, you got into the program. And so I'm ecstatic because this program is an accelerated program, go straight into my DNP. I got stopped outside that bathroom, and all I heard was, do you really want to go back to school? I'm like, yeah. And something really calm inside of me asked again, do you want to go back to school? Do you really want to be a doctor? And I stood there for a moment, and I just said, no. No, I would be going back to school for another, 2 to 3 degrees for the duration of that program, for this guaranteed career that's going to bring in, ever flowing money so that I won't have any worries or problems. And I realized that the reason, and not just, for money, but I was in fight or flight for 16 years. And for me, that looked like going to school, going to college. I always said I was a career student, going to college to obtain all this knowledge and degrees so that I won't ever have to worry about being poor or being broke or struggling in my life. And although I am so in love with medicine and healing people and health, um, y'all, I was tired. I was burnt out. And I felt that way because it wasn't what my heart wanted. It wasn't my dream. It became a dream at one point because things had to shift. Not only in order for me to survive, but for me to things had to shift because I had a kid. And so therefore I feel like things changed in my life. So my priorities and my goals changed. And I feel like if you are watching this right now, and this could show up differently for a lot of you, but if you're watching this right now, I'm pretty sure you too once had a dream that had to change because of some circumstance, right? Or some new inspiration, and it's still not what your heart wanted. And I think that in this age, in this day and time, a big part of the healing work is to go back to following the dream that you want, not the dream that, your number two dream, your number three dream, or this is a good dream too. And being a doctor is a great dream. It's a great career. I would be amazing at it, right? But it's not what I'm here to do. It's not necessarily what I want to do. I damn sure don't want to go back to school. I've been in college since 2008, 9, and I started late. So, no, things kind of didn't turn out that way, right? And so, right now, I feel like that old life for a lot of us, whatever we thought, whatever we knew, is being destroyed. And it's just like build it up and build it up right. And why do you need to build it up right? You might as well just go ahead and follow your heart because it's going to get torn the fuck down again. So you could do this the easy way or the hard way. Yeah. And I mean, I forget what the term is called, but it's like when you stay with something because of the time that you've already put in, and sometimes God just needs you to cut your losses because we don't know how to leave situations. For some of us, that could be the situation, because of that fear of what am I going to do. That is me right now because I'm about to enter into a part of my life that I know absolutely nothing about. Which, if you know anything about astrology, that's your north node. Your north node is what you're here to learn and do and put out into the world. Your south node is what you mastered already. So, like for me, my north node, and if you look at your chart, nothing too deep, just, go pull you a free chart. Nobody's going to be mad at you. God is not going to be mad at you. Jesus is not going to be mad at you for going to see where the planets, stars, asteroids were when you were born. Okay? When you go pull that chart, you're going to look at something that looks like a set of headphones, old school headphones. And across from that, you'll probably see those headphones upside down. That's your north node and south node. The south node is when the headphones is upside down. That's what you mastered in a previous life. So if you want to know about it, just drop your north node and south node, and I'll tell you what I know a little bit about it. But my north node is in Aries, in the fourth house. So that's about, and south node is in Libra. So in a past life, I mastered relationship, in some way. And I'm really great at relationship in this life. Now, the people who I get into relationship with, not so much, but great at that. In this life, it requires me to, one, it's about private and public, right? So having a private home life, a public career, which I never wanted. Well, at one point in time, I wanted to be an entertainer, but after I pregnant, even get it on this camera. If you go and look and see when this channel was established, that's how long ago God put it in my orbit to start a YouTube. And I just couldn't. I couldn't do this. Right? And I feel like, now it's just like I'm being brought back to it. And not that this is a career, this is just fun, and me just kind of doing what God says. I really am not thinking about money in any point in time of my life right now because that comes from lack, right? I don't have it. I ain't got no job, but these things make me happy. Being able to get on YouTube, I have fun with tarot. I have fun. It's always very fun and funny and interesting to see how accurate it is, and these are cards, right? That you don't think that God or spirit or your ancestors can speak to you through. And they do. So interesting. But yeah. So I feel like that's the message that we got. Be patient, you know. You also use your discernment. Use your discernment when it comes to opportunities because I don't want you to jump at an opportunity because of the space that you're in your life. I don't want you to do that. Mm-mm. All right. Any advice, actions for my earth signs? 1, 2, 3. Ew. Death. One more after death. 6, 5. Let's see. The Magician. Okay. Okay. So, actions and advice. The Death card is here. Hangman, 5 of Cups. There's some loss. There's going to be some loss here. But I feel like if you feel stuck, if you feel like you're in a space where you're waiting, I feel like this energy is necessary for you to become the magician. I have the 7 of Wands here and the 7 of Cups here. Next, to clarify, death. A lot of confusion just about where you are in life. And the Hangman has come out. What's this? Hanged Man. 9 of Swords. The 8 of Wands. Whew, a lot of anxiety. But I feel like Spirit is going to have some messages coming in really quick. But get out of your head. Stop. If you're stressing and have a lot of anxiety about where you are and if you feel stuck, what I want you to do is go find a mirror, look at yourself and say, all things are always working out for me. So if all things are always working out for me, then everything that was just taken from me is for my greatest and highest good. Okay? Okay? It'll help. All things are always working out for me. Right? I think that I just lost. You're going to be just paying too much attention to what's been left behind, to what's already gone. And Spirit doesn't want you to do that. Spirit does not want you to do that. Be patient with the journey, because you can't rush it. You can't force it forward. But I think that through this experience, you're going to be gifted with the tools to manifest anything you want. The last card is the Magician. It's the Magician. Swords is the lower object of the devil. But don't do that out of lack, because it's not about the money. There are no pentacles out here except for in the Magician card. It's not about the money. So if you are thinking of all the ways you can make money, you're never going to leave this spot. Who is it that you want to be? What do you want to do? What makes you happy? Especially in the Black community, money solves a lot of problems. What Spirit is saying is that money is not going to solve this problem. Okay? It's not going to solve this problem. Think of it as like, let's say you need to get to South America. That requires a flight. So a lot of you would ask God for money because you need to pay for that flight, when really you just need to tell God that you need a flight. And however he brings this flight into you is how he's going to do it. It's not about the money. It's about the resources to do the thing. It's not about a job. So a lot of you have some mystical things going on in your future. Might be becoming little witches. You know? And really, to me, that just means that you're the chosen person to break your family's generational curses. That's really all that means, at least here. But if you pay attention, you'll have everything you need. And you kind of already know. The High Priestess is here. You already know. There's just fear. You're afraid. Some of y'all are afraid of being too great. So be patient with your journey. And just whatever you come face with, especially if you're afraid, feel it and do it anyway. If you come to a cliff and God say jump off that cliff, and you just like, I ain't got no parachute, I ain't got nothing, and God say jump off that cliff, and you notice that it gets louder and louder and louder, jump off that goddamn cliff. That's trust. That's going with the flow. Don't swim against the river because it's going. Okay? I hope this message helped. Thank you for tuning in. Talk to you later.